तेजायोपवीदिने पुष्टानां पतये
काय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्र.
Okay, say hi. Say hi. Say hi. There you are. There you are. Ow, fingernails. Ow. All right, there you go. Hello, everybody. Where have I been? Busy as all get out. My exhaustion is relieved. And, it always helps to have support from the right people and the right places. And so before I got into my bumming around the house clothes, I thought I would get on here and say hello and share with you what's been happening over the past 3 weeks. Well, I have made some new spiritual group, a support system for me. I just got tired of practicing alone, okay? If you're not comfortable with the spiritual group that you've been raised with by your family, there's nothing wrong with that. You have the right to study other traditions. That's what I've been doing for the past 20 years. Finding out who we are is a journey of self-discovery. And even though I did my numerology many years ago and I eventually stumbled across the life path number corresponding to certain deities that match your soul, some say they're responsible for creating your soul. You are in that soul family, that soul tribe. You're not necessarily going to be attracted to that particular temple, that particular spiritual practice. And in Hinduism, it's just vast. So I focused on one. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sabrina. I am a mystic, a seer, a psychic healer, and a spiritual teacher. I've been sharing my journey. And if you think I'm eclectic, I think maybe I am. But I've been on a journey of self-discovery. And that's what I've been sharing on this channel. I've studied and practiced more than 3 or 4 traditions. Every one has been a frequency of some kind or another. And some of the spirits can teach you, but they teach you in a way that is incredibly problematic. You don't necessarily need to go that route. And for me, being part of the Ganesha family really has to do with what I brought into this life when I was born. And so Ganesha has been helping me with learning and memory and emotions. I believe that I suffered for so many years because I decided that was how I was going to really learn and understand the workings of the inner psyche, as well as astrology and planets. So today is Saturday. I pulled out a chiffon pant suit dress thing. I don't know if you can see it, but the pants are big, but they're very, very long. And so I tried to scotch tape them up. And then I pulled out this blue scarf, which is silk. And I've been using it for years to cover my wand and my atame. But I realized it matched this perfectly and that I was going to have to wear it over my shoulders because when you go into Hindu temple, the lady's shoulders need to be covered up and no cleavage showing, anything like that. And I have it dress that way at all so far. I did go in my tank top and my exercise pants Thursday because I was packing boxes and loading the truck and unloading the truck, and then I went over to Planet Fitness. They did look a little surprised when I went in there, but they gave me a scarf to put on, and so everybody had the same scarf. Everybody was given the same scarf. There was a traveling temple. Somebody started from a temple in India where this sacred statue has been blessed, and then they traveled around the country. So there was a lot of people there that day. So I put this scarf on, and then I researched on the internet things to wear, right? And I saw that it's important to cover the shoulders. I knew that once I got to temple, I could ask somebody, what do I do with my scarf? And she said, oh, well, you need to cover your shoulders. You know, you have to be, like the internet said, you need to be modest. You need to be conservatively dressed. And that includes covering the shoulders. So this worked out perfectly, didn't it? Yeah, and it's silk, so it feels really good. This also happens to be one of my better colors. We were chanting to a deity called Hanuman. Now, Hanuman is an aspect of Shiva and the sun. The benefits of chanting to this particular deity, who holds the frequency of Shiva and the sun, is protection and healing and good luck. It minimizes the effects of Saturn. That is one of the explanations, one of the descriptions. And as you may have been hearing me say recently, that there has been an alignment of planets that brought nothing but really good energy, like clearing, like karma busting energy. When you have the sun with Saturn, you can't have anything but better frequency, better influence because of the sun. The sun is going to provide a softening of the energies of Saturn, whatever influences might be going on with you, with Saturn at the moment. I have said everything is astrology. Everything is numbers. All right? So these deities are personified frequencies, representations of these energies, these planets, and the sun, sometimes the moon. Why? Well, because we can better relate to them. I don't have any problem working with planetary energies, but it's nice to have something that kind of resembles me, even if they're blue. Now, there is quite a lot of words that are derived from the Sanskrit language that we're chanting. And so I took the paper and I was following along as best I could. And it continues for 11 recitations. I got there late. I wasn't sure I was going to go at all. I've been extremely exhausted from doing everything myself. So, I'm hoping that doesn't last too much longer either. As I've been wondering, what do I do now with all of this cleared energy? What does that mean when you've cleared out all of your karma from the past life that you brought into this life and all that stuff? Well, you start to eventually discover what it is you're going to be doing with your new self. For me, it's not just curious or practicing chanting regularly or irregularly or wondering how I'm supposed to do, what else am I supposed to do? When Ganesha opened the gate and introduced me basically to Shiva, there was an aspect going on in the heavens, in Vedic astrology, and the houses and the sub-houses called nakshatras that could bring in a variety of benefits. On the lunar eclipse, there could be some clearing of a long-standing problem. There can be issues that have been going on for this past year that are finally coming to an end. They are closing and the worst of the difficulties are over. And in my case, it was just a very, very big, dramatic clearing. And I was shown the deity Shiva. And I was called Julie in this astral travel. So, you wonder, what does that mean? I asked the priest, as I've said before, go to the horse's mouth. Learn how you need to dress. Be serious about wanting to learn how to chant to Ganesha or practice Sanatana Dharma. And speak to a priest from India who's been growing up and trained in the tradition and the culture and knows everything. And I asked him, what now? I'm still alive. What does this mean? What do I do? What's going on? Why? He said, these things happen to put us on the path. So it was just time for me to go and start learning more about other deities at the Hindu temple. And he never looked at me strange or asked me any questions. I just went in and said, I want to practice Sanatana Dharma. And I've had this dream about Ganesha, and I've just had this dream about Shiva and the snake coming up and going around my neck. I described the whole thing to him, and he said, no, I said, what does this mean? What do I do? And he said, stop trying to figure it out. Enjoy your new life the way you are feeling lighter. You're feeling more relaxed, less stressed. And then things will happen easier for you when you want them to happen. For example, if you wanted to start some type of a little business, you just need to concentrate, and then you can get more ideas and things can start to probably fall in place for you easier maybe than they have before. You won't be going to do one thing that doesn't work out and another thing that doesn't work out. You'll be given the right information from the right people. And, I had told him about how wonderful my day was on that Friday that I took an assignment. And he said, for example, what's happening now is you're getting easier assignments. Yes, you're having to walk a lot and climb steps. But today, for example, you said it was nothing but games. All we did was play games. Outside and inside. And it was a fundraiser by the PTO to raise money for the school, for equipment and supplies for the kids. Now this I knew was a sign to me, because some years back I had a dream that I was going to be asked if I would take on a challenge and sort of raise money through sponsorship by helping a crippled child. And I've never understood what in the world that could be. Dreams can be very difficult. You have to wait for them to actually start to play out. When I saw that these kids were running a race, a relay race outside, and I asked what it was for, they said it was a fundraiser to raise money for the things that these kids needed, because there wasn't enough money for supplies and field trips and things that I guess some of the teachers might need in the classroom. Then I knew this was going to be coming up into my life pretty soon. As above, so below. This was a sign, okay? When I went out of town to get the title in my name for the truck, the lady who came to the window had a tattoo of an elephant on her arm. That's when I knew Ganesha was with me. And whether she realized it or not, she's attracted to Ganesha. So, sometimes as much as we want to figure things out, we just have to trust the process. And for me being given this dream about how in the world am I going to take on that task, as in my dream I had said, well, I don't know if I can do that, right? But I believe we should always remain productive. And if you have experience in certain areas of life, well, that can be used in a variety of different ways. And I like to remain useful and productive. I've told my friend I want to die with my boots on. I don't want to be sitting in a senior apartment, getting crippled and rotting away and all that. And even though now it's kind of getting harder for me to be so physical every day, I'm hoping that I will have someone come into my life. And whatever aspect that turns out to be, whether I'm asked to take on the challenge with a new partnership or whatever it is with a younger person, I'm being called to the task. And so I'll just have to keep you posted. And this is from me actually continuing to read the tarot cards and just ask for my guides to show me what I need to be shown. In the practice of calling on a spirit or, asking for things to happen, it really is taking the path of least resistance. You are not supposed to become so attached to the outcome that you can't see the blessing when it comes. Things don't always manifest exactly the way you want, when you want, the way you want. There's other things that have to happen in life. And when you start to see signs, then you'll know it's probably coming sooner up in your life within that month or that year than farther in the future. And so, yes, when I have dreams that are far out, I don't know how far out they're going to be. I keep waiting and waiting and waiting for the dream I had that was so vivid to manifest. And that's frustrating. But that's what I did today. It was raining, and I might take a couple more boxes. I'm going to have to try to figure out how in the world I'm going to get this dresser in the back of my truck and get it over to the storage room. I've been using an exercise stepper, and I use furniture sliders and I wiggle things over and I turn them up on their side and I get them on the stepper and then I angle them on the truck and then I lift it up and I push it in the truck. And I'm able to do some of those things. Stop flapping arms. Because I have been doing strength training at Planet Fitness to keep my bones and my muscles strong. So even though I'm still working on the excess weight, there's some things we just have to accept. When you get older and your metabolism slows down and You're starting to fill out in places. The skin is stretching. So yeah, it's just a ongoing process, or a challenge, rather. But I think, yeah, I have a friend who's offered to help me, but I hesitate to ask her because she's had a surgery. I've got the dining room table and this dresser. So we'll see with the furniture sliders and the exercise stepper. I have to get that stuff in the truck because I'm not able to just take it and unload it into the new place on the 1st. I have to stay somewhere for a couple of days until the apartment is ready. So that's the news. If you're interested in learning your life path number and what that actually entails, and the types of deities that actually correspond to your frequency, because once you start working with them, they help you with whatever life path things you have come into this world to deal with, the challenges and so forth. They can also help make things manifest for you quicker and easier. They can eliminate negative energies. And I also wanted to make this video today on meditation and negative thinking. You have to guard yourself against being negative and pessimistic, as hard as it seems. You can practice putting a little smile on your face. You can practice just telling yourself, everything is working out good for me. Everything is working out. Everything is working out good for me. It has to. Okay, it has to. So, everything is working out good for me. Everything is working out. I will have better circumstances. I am getting better circumstances. Everything has to be of a positive nature and a positive mindset. And the words that come out of your mouth are probably the most important of all. If you continue a negative attitude and a habit, I promise you, more and more bad luck things will happen in your life. You'll be attracted to people that are low vibrational. They have the same type of negative thinking. They like to talk about what's wrong in the world and, other things like that. They do not have a knowledge really of practicing positive words that can help you feel lighter. Now, sometimes you just need to have the right people come into your life. And so you need to say, I attract people who know how to assist me in my life. Maybe you just haven't found the right people to understand the types of things that you're trying to understand and how you go about that process of talking about it all the time. You're trying to understand it, but maybe you just need to let it go for the moment, or tell yourself, I'm having better understanding every day. And remember, what has just happened in the heavens has been good for many people. It's been an indication of the worst of things has actually played itself out. Whatever lessons that we were going through for this past year, past 6-8 months maybe. That the worst of it is over and that there are new things coming. This relates to eclipse season. So the dream I had on the lunar eclipse, and then the wonderful day I had on the solar eclipse, and the new things that are coming for me. that I may not think I'm up to the challenge, but I think that the dream was given to me to show me that I am. Okay, so yeah, before I go, as we were completing the offering to Hanuman and getting blessed and having offerings from the altar given to us by the priest, my right ear began to ring. So I turned to look, and there was a man coming in with 2 teenage boys. And I thought, oh, okay. I don't know what that's about, but I knew that the 2 things were related. High-pitched ringing of my ear, heads up. I looked. What happened was, when it was over, I was strongly encouraged to stay and eat. The woman who sat next to me, I got to talk to her and get to know her, asking lots of questions and telling a little bit about myself. So on my way out, I called the lady and I said, do you need some help? She said, no. And all of a sudden I remembered that the school was implementing 10 minutes of meditation every single day. And I had already talked to her about meditation. She'd asked me something, and I mentioned I was doing it since I was 12, off and on, When I first practiced, it was difficult. I'll get into that in a minute. And she said, that's why I brought my 2 boys. They were born in America, raised in the American culture, and I'm trying to get them basically to learn about their roots, is what she was saying to me. One of them was actually laughing while the priest was performing his connection to the deity. And it was behind a veil. There was 2 people were holding a fabric like a veil, and then the veil was brought down. After, the father had to go up to the boy and say, if you don't stop laughing, you got to go out. So, they don't understand it. Now, I don't know the whole story there, but she was telling me, oh, you should tell my boys. And I said, I was so happy to see that, because I wanted to do it myself, but I didn't have a license. I went in and I had all my instructions and got to the part that said 10 minutes of mindful meditation. I went, oh my God, this is fantastic, because these kids need it. How to control your anxiety, quiet the mind, have a relaxation response, okay? And she said, oh, my boys need to hear this. And she said, what's that, And I told her again, I had learned the benefits to the brain and how it helps us actually be able to retain more information, like be smarter, learn better. She said, oh, you need to tell my boys. And so they were coming over, and she said, oh, this is Sabrina, and she's been practicing meditation since she was 12. And, and so then I knew, because she was looking at me, I knew she wanted me to spit it out and tell my boys, because they just don't want to do it. They don't want to hear it. They don't understand. And she says, even for me, I try to meditate for a few minutes every day. And so I said, oh yeah, you go to school here in T. Well, I substitute teach in Sioux Falls. And they have 10 minutes of mindful meditation every day. And the older boy was like, really? Yes, because it helps to quiet the mind. You can access more of your brain. And not everybody wants to do it. They don't really understand it. But if you Google it, the benefits of meditation and mindful meditation, and how it helps you and your mind You know, I said, I do it, makes me smarter. That's all I said. I didn't talk about developing a relaxation response or how your mind's going to be full of chatter. Because when you first start, and I've had people tell me this when I was teaching it to adults here in the community, oh, I can't get my mind to stop chattering. That's normal. That is the process. You are training an aspect of yourself to stop, whatever comes in, just don't pay attention to it. Just let it come and don't pay attention to it. Don't start thinking on it, and it'll it'll go on, and then something else will come in, and then something else will come in. That doesn't mean you can't meditate. You have to give it a chance. The purpose of meditation is to get you into a state of a clear-mindedness to the point where you're finally relaxed. And you are finally accessing another frequency of your brain where if you practice it enough, you will develop a relaxation type of a habit, personality, instead of an anxious, impatient type of a personality. Yes, you're going to get rid of these anxiety feelings, anything that you feel like you need to rush, or you're addicted to dopamine hits, by creating some type of, like waiting until the last minute to get dressed and run out the door. Okay? That's one for me that I've had to work on for many years. I got that from my mother. So that's a bad habit you have to break. It's not good for the adrenal glands. It's not good for, getting in the car and driving out on the road that way. And it's good for you to just develop an ability to do things in a relaxed state of mind, because you actually do have more energy that way. The other ways, you're robbing yourself of energy. If you're pushing yourself, or you're running on, number 10, working fast and then crashing and burning, pushing yourself, motivated by whatever it is that you need to motivate yourself. For my mother, it was deep-seated anger. You're just going to crash and burn. You're not going to have long-lasting energy or the ability or the stamina to do what you need to do during the day, and then go home and rest and rejuvenate. So after I said that to the boys, the older boy just said, oh, I'll give it a try. Sometimes it takes a stranger, when the family and the friends cannot get through to you because they know you. Sometimes it takes a stranger. And the mother smiled at me, and I said, well, I got to, see you later. I'm got to go now. And they're like, okay, thank you. Bye. So Google it. Google how you're going to be able to access more of your brain. You'll be able to learn more, retain more, develop an ability to sustain longer, stamina, take less stress off of your immune system, be able to maybe do more, stay awake longer to do things in a relaxed state, remember more, be able to pull up information to remember for test taking, and also start to open your third eye. That's for another video. It's very important. The medical community does and doesn't understand or believe that there's anything there actually doing anything. But if you ever get to a point where you start to feel like a tightness there, like when you're spaced out, that's your pineal gland. All right, so I don't know when the next time is that I'm going to be able to make a video I might be making videos less and less frequently now as I'm starting a new chapter of my life. But I'll definitely share with you things that I'm learning about the Hindu pantheon and the benefits. I wholeheartedly believe in Ganesha, listening to Ganesha chants to heal your hippocampus, your ability to learn, to be creative, and remember things you need to remember, just to look at and understand. Once we understand it in a new way, we have new knowledge. It loses whatever power it had over us to bog us down with baggage because we didn't have an understanding. And then when the time is right, like the priest said to me over at the temple, he said sometimes we just have to suffer, which just means wait, okay? Look it up. That word means wait for the right time, and then we have a big clearing. But in the meantime, there's a lot of little steps that we can take on a regular basis to have more and more things released from the mind, the emotions, and the body. Not even I have been practicing every day, but by doing what I could once or twice a week with Ganesha, laying in bed, listening to the chants, I was being helped. I was remembering things. But sometimes we grow faster when we have an encounter with another human being. And we actually can discover more of an aspect of ourself that we need to dive in and understand more. That's what life is about. The Creator wants us to grow through relationships. I've heard that many years ago. And even though there might be a time where you may be led to isolate for a while so that you can heal from bad experiences, that's not supposed to stay that way. All right. Namaste. Take care. And I will talk to you in the future.